Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sea.
Welcome to my guest. This is Jan Lewis, your host. Today we have Marjorie Turner Hollman, and Marjorie's making another appearance on our show, an encore appearance. Welcome back, Marjorie.
Oh, thank you so much.
I read in the Bellingham Bulletin about a program that she's running over at the Riverbend Farm in Uxbridge, and it sounded great. The kids, the adults too can, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell us what they're making nature books, and I'm going to hold up a couple of these for you. I saw that and I said, that sounds fantastic. Go for it. What is this all about?
This is Make Your Own Storybook Hike.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a very simple concept. It's adults, children who, we said 3 and up.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be able to write yourself. It does help if you're verbal of some kind. Go out and take a very easy walk someplace and then come back to an indoor space, set up at a table with book supplies that at least at Riverbend Farm was provided to us by the staff there. Catherine Parent and I teamed up with this. And make your own storybook, meaning whatever you see on the trail, whatever you observe, whether it brings up a story that you want to think up, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, or whether it's just nature observations, write it down. Or if you can't write because you haven't learned how to write, or in the case of, we had some friends who are visually impaired, they weren't able to write, they needed assistance, so we paired them up with people who could see and could write. And you dictate your story to somebody who writes it in your book, and you've got your own storybook.
This is one of your grandchildren, right?
That was, yes.
I love this. There's
Yes.
To make the book, you take the 2 pieces of paper, right? And then you punch the holes, and then
Little rubber bands.
Yeah, and then the
little,
stick.
Yep, just a twig
from the forest.
as a binder. Yep.
And then that's how they do it. It just opens like this. You can tell the little one. How old is this one, David?
He's 4.
He's 4. And then this was
4.
Nicole.
He wanted to do his own. He did not want to dictate a story.
That's the same age as my son's son.
Yeah.
And then Nicole is 9. Is she?
Nicole is almost 9, and she wrote her own story, and so it was very simple.
Yeah.
But she wrote her own story and didn't use the whole book, but
Oh, I can tell you, she's like her printing is really good. A lot of kids these days they can hardly write.
yeah.
They're so busy on the computer.
So she wrote a story, and all of the other children, it was very sweet watching parents interacting with their children. And then, like I said, we had some friends who are visually impaired,
Yeah.
and they brought their seeing eye dog with them, and went right along the trail with us. They had sighted guides to go with them,
Yeah.
and we just went up on the towpath and back. It was a very simple walk. Came back. Riverbend Farm is right on Hartford Avenue, beyond West Hill Dam.
Okay.
And it's at the corner of Oak Street and Hartford Avenue, where the Tri-River Health Center is. It's just down the street on Oak Street from there.
Why did I get that mixed up with?
West Hill Dam.
Okay, so that is Riverbend. Doesn't Viola Bramall?
Viola Bramall is at West Hill Dam with the Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay, so now where are these events taking place? It's at West. It's at.
They can take any place, but right now where I've teamed up with is at Riverbend Farm in Uxbridge, and the next one coming up is February 21st, which is during school vacation, and
that's handy.
That's going to be
good.
10:30 in the morning.
Ah.
February 21st,
Okay.
Wednesday, and with a snow date of that Saturday. We have another one scheduled during a statewide, what's called Art Week event. There's going to be events all over the state the last week of April into May. And so we're partnering with the Blackstone Heritage Corridor and DCR with Riverbend Farm and Roots in Nature, which is a homeschool group of parents and toddlers to get children outdoors. And so we're going to be doing another one April 29th. That's Sunday afternoon at 1:30.
Hopefully by April, things even by it'll be a lot a lot better. And
Sure.
also, Marjorie told me there's a book, she's got another book coming out in April, right?
I do.
And what was the title of that one?
I do. The book coming out is Easy Walks and Paddles in the 10 Mile River Watershed, which includes Plainville, North Attleboro, Seekonk, East Providence, and Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And it's going to be 39 trails and places that you can paddle along the 10 Mile River, which basically empties out into Narragansett Bay.
Is that the same one that when they have the canoe races in Northbridge? Is that this Blackstone?
That's
right?
the Blackstone.
That
They're
goes on.
separate watersheds.
Okay.
They are separate watersheds, but these are the towns that host
Yeah.
the 10 Mile River.
And they
Pawtucket has both watersheds.
They have both. Now, Marjorie, you were telling me who's thought up this idea, the great with the little twig binding and all.
Catherine Parent. She's
Yeah.
she works. She's one of the staff at Riverbend Farm.
Yeah.
So-
So she kind of, or did you both come up with it?
We came up with the program of
Yeah.
take make your own storybook hike. For me, it combines my storytelling experience, because I was a professional storyteller for many years.
Yeah.
And so working with children on an educational basis, and then my writing experience, my personal history, and my love of the outdoors. It rolls it all into one event. The idea is actually, I went to many storytelling conferences, and a well-known educator back in the day from Chicago, Vivian Gusson-Paley is her name, did a lot with storytelling in the classroom and having the teacher have children, pre-literate children, dictate stories
I love that.
to them,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and the teacher would write them down.
That's like when you're
and
like, I'm writing someone's memoir and they're dictating to me, right? Well, you're
That's
a
right.
personal historian.
That's
you know.
right.
We're talking with Marjorie Turner Hollman, and she is a personal historian, freelance writer. She's in the Bellingham Bulletin. You're in there every time it comes out, right?
I've been writing for them for 20 years, but I also write for other papers.
Where else are you writing?
The local town pages. I also write for newspapers, and then I take other assignments.
How did you get
And-
interested in all this nature stuff, which is great? How did you get there?
Oh gosh.
When you were a kid?
I was a Girl Scout. My mother was a Girl Scout.
Yeah.
So we've always loved doing outdoor things. Specifically, finding the places in creating these books. When I met my husband and he moved to this area, he said, "Where are the places we can go outdoors?" Because that's what he and I did a lot, was spending time hiking.
Right.
And it challenged me to find where are all these places that are sort of tucked here and there, and there's a lot of places
Yeah.
that aren't well known or that aren't
No.
right on the main
Right
roads.
here in Upton, have you been on the trail here in Upton?
Well, there's a bunch.
Yeah. I'm thinking the main one off of
You're talking
Elm Street. Is it off of Elm or off of Mechanic?
Well, there's Steffen's Farm off Mechanic Street,
Yeah.
and there's the state
The
forest.
Yeah.
And then there's also a portion of the state forest right behind Upton High School, Nipmunk High School,
Well, I didn't know about that.
on the West River.
Aha.
Oh, it's very nice.
Okay. That was
You have to go after school, but
yeah. You'd
it's a
have to
nice
do-
little 1 mile loop.
Marjorie, is this your main thing, writing your books and then doing the work over at Riverbend, or do you do something else too?
Well, I work with
That's enough, but
Thank you.
what do you
No, well, that's why I was saying it combines things like this was. I think I may have. I brought
from
that
Minnesota
before.
to Florida, finding a place in the sun.
Right.
This
That
was-
was the first book that I did. My dad's memoir.
That was your father's memoir.
It
Cool.
was.
Was his like
Yep.
okay?
Mhm.
Now, how did you go from Marjorie Turner to Hollman?
It's a long story.
Okay, okay, so cool. That's a beautiful name. Is that German?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at your mom. When were they married? What year?
1949.
Okay, they were a little younger. My parents got married in 1941.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at her dress, and it's similar, the coronet on the top that
Yeah.
my mother was wearing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cute.
So I work with families
Yeah.
to help them get their stories down. I
Yeah.
also work with people who have written books and need some help getting it into a structure. I did another book that was Letters of World War I, that a friend of mine, Nancy, had been working on the letters for 15 years, researching them, trying to find out what the story was, and she was stuck.
Yeah.
And I worked with her on her manuscript to help make it a coherent
Yeah.
manuscript, and it became a beautiful, beautiful book.
Right, I know when I work with memoir, personal history clients, I always say when we get done with the manuscript, we're ghostwriters, when they get done, then go to Create Space. Let yourself create your own cover.
Yeah.
Because if you try and send it, even if a publisher, even if they accept your book, which is, they're going to take over as far as the cover goes. You're not going to have to say, then they're going to let you out on your own to get yourself scheduled to be out there. So that's where I take over as a publicist. But I love the idea of Create Space where they can have their own idea on this because
Well,
they're
this
good.
was a professionally designed cover.
Who
That was actually a graphic designer. I worked directly with Robin Brooks.
Okay.
She's out in Western Mass, but
Pleasant Green Books. Okay.
yeah, she does an amazing job. So she did the book design for that, but I helped with what's called developmental editing.
Oh yeah.
And helping the story get into,
Sure.
so that it's a story,
Yeah.
so that it's coherent.
Definitely. So now, what else is coming up over at Riverbend?
Oh, they've got a whole bunch of things.
Are you
They've
going to be there?
Well, I told you about this
Yeah.
make your own storybook hike. They have boots along the Blackstone hikes that they take, just depending on going where, depending on the weather.
Yeah.
They're doing things probably every weekend. There's things you need to go on to their website.
Just go. What is their website over there?
There's several ways of finding out what's going on. You can go to the Blackstone Valley Heritage Corridor website for events in all over the Blackstone Valley. You can also go to Mass DCR because it's a state park as well, and look for that.
Riverbend. When you take your to create a book, you take your hike. How long a hike is it? Some people might not.
45 minutes.
Okay, so they go kind of slow.
It's a very easy hike.
All ages.
Yep.
Everybody.
Like I said, from 3 up.
What about rain? Snow would kill it, but I mean.
Ice was the only thing that was going to keep us
Yeah.
off the trails, that it's just not safe footing. No, we would have gone out in the rain.
You would have gone?
I told people to be prepared.
Yeah, bring that umbrella. How many showed up the last time?
We had 33 people come.
That's a pretty good showing.
We've already got 8 families signed up for this next one.
Okay, so you should pre-register.
It's a helpful thing to let
And they
people.
can reach you personally?
No, they're supposed to call Riverbend Farm.
Do you know their phone number?
That's
That's okay, they can find it online.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, to register. Is there a limit to how many people?
So far we're not going to turn anybody down.
Yeah.
But
Is it free?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's important
Absolutely.
to
It's a
remember.
free program.
So it's a free one. That's
Yep.
good. Now, Riverbend is near, people are from around this area, was it Tri-River?
County Health.
Yeah.
It's the
Medical building.
medical building there.
So I know there's like
Right.
a little river that is,
That's
obviously.
the Blackstone going under the river, under the road right there.
Are they is Riverbend heading more towards Mendon or more towards Uxbridge?
Heading,
Or-
it's heading over towards Northbridge.
Northbridge, okay, so it's going back that way.
Yeah.
Okay, I know there's a back way. It's Northbridge Road, I think, over in Whitensville, of course, or whatever.
Mhm.
And I go a back way, and then I go down, and I think that's a back way over there, isn't it?
Mhm. Yeah.
Is that where people go swimming? Because I remember years ago I took my son there.
I don't
There's a
know
little
about all
pond-
of that.
Like a pond or something. But I don't know if that's where Viola Bramall is over there. But,
She's not.
but there was some swimming. There was like a
There
little,
is at West Hill Dam.
Okay, yeah, it was
Yep.
like this little pond type of thing.
Mhm.
And it wasn't the cleanest to swim in, but it was fun.
It's a
We had
swimming beach.
We brought friends in from Rhode Island, and I think they liked it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do your grandchildren come too with you? Well, obviously they came.
Well,
with
they
this one.
did. Yes. Their mom brought them and worked with them, and because I was taking pictures of everybody.
Is it a tour where well, I know they're going to create a book, but what things do you ask them to pick up, or is it just to think about it?
Every walk is different. You never know.
Yeah.
We had just had a whole bunch of real cold weather, and so all of the ice in the canal was shifted. It was like you were watching plate tectonics.
Yeah.
Because the rain, we'd had a lot of rain the night before,
Yeah.
and so there was all this water on top of the canal, and it shifted and broken up the ice on it. It was
Must have been pretty though.
it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then, because of all of this rain, that was what all the children ended up writing about. All of this tumult in the canal. A poor fish got stranded on top of the ice.
A child would pick that up, you know.
Well, yes, everyone
yeah,
was.
yeah, definitely. Me too. Like, where
And
did the fishies go?
I know, he was stuck. He was up on top of the ice.
So what happened?
Well, one of the parents decided that he was going to rescue the fish. He found a very long branch and pushed the chunk of ice over to the shore, came around to the other side of the canal, and was able to knock him into the water. And so everyone was very relieved that the fish
Did you walk by just in
did
time
not
to see
die.
this little fish there? Was it a grown fish, like a bass, or?
It was a
kibber?
Yeah.
That was good that the kids saw that he was able to go back to his home.
I know. Well,
are there a
you know,
lot of critters up that way besides the fishies and stuff?
I've seen a lot of birds there.
Yeah.
I've seen great blue herons. I'm trying to think what other more. Oh, we saw signs of yellow-bellied sapsuckers that were drilling holes. They're in the woodpecker family.
Yeah.
And they were drilling holes in the trees. So Catherine took us around next to the visitor center and showed us where these holes were getting drilled in the bark of the tree, and she was also showing where they had tapped some of the maples they'll be doing that in March as
For
well,
maple
the maple
sugar?
sugaring.
I didn't know we did
Yes.
that down here.
Oh yeah.
Over
They
at
have a whole
Riverbend, they're going
yep.
to tap for maple sugar.
Yep.
Will you be able to buy it somewhere over there?
No, I don't think they make enough to sell
What are they
it.
going to do with it, though?
It's a program just to have people see how it's made.
My husband just looked online and recently, and he found out, I don't know medically, that maple syrup is supposed to be extremely good as avoiding things like cancer and things like that. So if I remember, I'll take a little teaspoon of it, or put it some on my muffin in them, or whatever, I mean, why not? The only thing is I think it's loaded with sugar, natural sugar, though.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when people are going along on this walk,
Mm-hmm.
Are the kids ever urged to pick up, and the adults urged to pick up little things and glue them into their book?
No. Actually, we don't encourage that because it's a leave no trace, leave things where they are, but just look and observe.
Just look and don't, Do you provide the twigs for the binding?
Catherine did. Yeah, she had a whole stack of them. Yeah, and I said, where do you get them all? And she said, whenever we're doing brushing out and needing to clean things up, I grab some and
that is the neatest idea.
It was very clever.
We've had journalists on.
I don't get credit for that. Catherine.
That's okay.
Catherine Parent
but
put
I
that
love
together.
it. I mean, it's so easy. It's keep it simple.
That's right.
And then now this was Nicole's little book, and she was talking about. Is it all right?
Sure.
There was a guy who saved a fish from dying on ice. He got a long stick and pushed the ice to the edge and took the stick and pushed the fish off the ice. And she's drawn a picture of the fish in the water.
That's
now,
right.
What are they given markers to do it with, or crayons? Or
Oh, she had a whole collection of colored pencils and markers and crayons. And
they right there. They do it when they come back.
Oh yeah.
We saw lots of ice, like you said, on the pond. Is this the same river that goes down by
It's the Blackstone.
the center of Uxbridge? There's a bridge there with a waterfall.
That's the Mumford River.
Okay.
It feeds into the Blackstone,
Yeah.
but it is actually the Mumford right there.
I know in summers years ago I used to go and sit with a friend of mine. We just sit on the benches there and just listen to it. Is the dentist still there, Dr. Swiderski? Just gave you a plug.
That I don't know.
I used to go to him years and years ago, but did the children punch this themselves?
No. Catherine had that ready, so
Yeah.
kept it simple.
Kept it real. What's the youngest age?
Oh, we had children that were in front packs with their parents.
Okay, so the parents were doing it for them.
But they carried those.
Yeah.
But we had some pretty little ones, 2, 3 years old.
How old would you say the oldest person would be?
We didn't have tremendously old
Seniors?
people, but there were definitely grandparents there with their grandchildren.
What a great thing to do. Now, I'm going to get this down again. The next one is February 21st.
That's right.
Which is
Wednesday. It's during school vacation is why we did it that way.
At what time?
At 10:30 in the
Okay.
morning.
I'd have to go to Worcester to get my grandchildren, so I have to be up really early.
Oh.
But that's okay, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then after that, April 29th,
April 29th.
Don't have to bring
That's
anything.
Sunday afternoon, 1:30 in the afternoon.
and you don't, okay, that's on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, April 29th? That's not Easter Sunday, is it? Oh, wait a
No,
minute.
Easter Sunday's
What?
April 1st.
Oh, so this wouldn't be a conflict.
Nope. Mm-mm.
I like that time, 1:30 on Sunday. That's
Mhm.
really, really good.
Yeah.
And I think by then they would have had some food under their belt, like lunch and everything.
Right.
We wouldn't have to be dealing with that. Because
Right.
I know what it's like to feel hungry. It's not cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we're talking with Marjorie Turner Hollman, and she's a personal historian and a freelance writer with the Bellingham Bulletin. She works over at Riverbend Farm helping out with this walk. It's a great, you create a book out of your walk going through the trail.
Make your own story.
Make your own story.
storybook hike.
And do the parents actually, they actually make their own while the children are doing it too?
The idea was for the parents to be the writers
Okay.
for the children that were little.
They're the ghost writers for the kids.
That's right.
How is that? Again,
It
how
was
can
really
people reach you,
sweet.
Marjorie? How can they reach you?
My website is marjorieturner.com.
MarjorieTurner.com. That's easy enough.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. In the summer, they have something over there that's, I don't know, what is it? What are some of the things they're doing
Oh,
there?
they've got a full moon hike coming up.
When's that?
Gosh, you'd have to check their schedule.
Okay.
I know with this art week in April, we're also going to be doing a May Day program
What's that?
with making May baskets.
You make them?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Yep. And that they will collect things from the trail and make May baskets.
So they'll stay for that trail walk. They'll be able to take some things and
and create
make a basket.
Sure.
What if all someone picks up his leaves or something? They can make it.
They'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out.
That sounds real good. Now that's
Yeah.
that's in May.
Yep.
Make a May basket.
I'm not doing that program, but a
Yeah.
friend of mine, Angie Stormont, who Roots in Nature, is a group of that they meet twice a week,
Yeah.
all year round, to get kids outdoors playing in nature.
That sounds. Kids are
Yeah.
inside, and I know a lot of us adults are too. On the computer, da-da-da-da-da. I don't get out enough to walk a lot, and I really should. So it gets the kids out there.
With their parents.
How long have you been doing this over there at Riverbend? How have you been?
This Make Your Own Storybook hike, this past one was the first one we've done.
Yeah.
But I've led walks. I've been doing things with being outdoors. I've taken walks
Yeah.
with people. The hiking books I've been working on the last 4 years.
Yeah, let's go through some of those books.
Oh, thank
Marjorie's
you.
been with us before, and I want to go over again some of the wonderful books.
Yeah.
I've got some at home. Oh my God. More Easy Walks in Massachusetts. That came after, obviously, Easy Walks in Massachusetts. This even takes over the Milford Trail, right?
Right.
I have a friend who does that in Milford. She goes along that trail. That's off of, there's Purchase Street, and
There's a bunch of places to get on there. Friendly's on 109 in Milford. Purchase Street, you're talking about Louisa Lake. And
it's the shortcut to get over to the main drag in Milford.
I
You
think
go up
that's,
Old Purchase Street Market, hang a right at the light.
yeah,
and
that's
go
that's Dilla Street.
Yeah, Dilla Street.
Mhm.
And then I think the little trail is off of that, right?
It's directly off of Dilla Street.
Have you gone along that trail?
Oh, sure.
You like it? Do you like to ride a bike or walk it?
We have a tandem bike. I have some paralysis that I deal with that keeps me from riding a bike by myself, but my husband has gotten us a tandem bike that we've adapted so that I can ride along on the back.
That
And
is fantastic.
we go up to 20 miles at a time that I
20
couldn't do.
miles.
Yeah, on these bike trails.
I didn't know they went that far.
The Milford Holliston Trail right now is connected for about 10 miles. So if you started at the Hopkinton town line, went through Milford and all the way up to Holliston, that's at least 10 miles, and then you got to come back.
Let me ask this. A lot of us are novices. I've got a bicycle, but I've got the kind I grew up with. I don't like all the gizmos. I want it just generic. Now, is there a lot of hills on this trail?
No, it's the Milford Trail is actually almost all quite level.
Oh,
It's
that
got-
sounds good.
Yeah, it's got very, very little. It's really
It's
quite
really good.
level.
And you've done it with the tandem bike.
Sure.
You've
Yeah,
done
but
that.
my husband does most of the pedaling.
What's your favorite trail when you both go out there? What do you like?
Well, we've traveled all over New England with our tandem.
Up to New Hampshire at all?
Yep, and we're planning on taking it up to Maine,
Mhm.
to Acadia, to the carriage roads. There's 48 miles of carriage roads at
You
Acadia.
do 48 miles?
There
No,
are
okay.
48
Yeah,
miles
yeah.
of carriage roads.
Yeah.
We've ridden most of them.
What, do you ever get over to Portland, South Portland? No.
We really like to stay off trail. I
Yeah.
don't know all the trails around there. I know there are some trails.
Yeah.
And there are some bike trails.
Easy Walks in Massachusetts. That came out what year?
This one came out just a year ago, July, I think.
Okay, that was pretty recent because you were on the show with
Yeah,
that one. Then
yeah.
you were on again with more Easy Walks in
Yeah,
Massachusetts.
that was in 2015, I believe.
What got you to make the more? I mean, you were just spurred right out. Look at this one goes from Ashland to
Right.
Westboro.
I had written the first book, and then I needed to do book publicity, and somebody
Yeah.
said, get a Facebook page. Well, what do you put on Facebook but pictures? And so I started going out looking for new trails
Yeah.
to take pictures of, and before I knew it, half of the book had gotten written.
So you are an excellent photographer too.
I am an experienced photographer from repetition.
I love the picture on More Easy Walks on the orange.
Oh,
I love,
thank you.
And I love this. You know why? This looks like our entree theme song and all to Be My Guest.
That's the Blackstone River going through the Blackstone Gorge.
Yeah, Glenn Fowler did a great job. He went up. Glenn, what town were you? Where were you? What state when you took the latest one?
The latest one?
The latest one with the river. Do you remember that?
Uxbridge?
You were in Uxbridge?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Oh.
No wonder. Yeah,
No.
I love the way the water, because it goes right over it, yeah. Well, we're going to have to wind it up, but Marjorie, again, how can people reach you if they have questions?
MarjorieTurner.com, MarJorie, Turner, all spelled together. And I welcome any kind of inquiries. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Well, you're very welcome, and again, if you're interested in this, create your own story over at Riverbed Farm. How cool. They punch a hole in the little, what kind of paper is it?
It's construction
Paper, okay. Then they give the kids, the families a twig, and you take the elastic bands and you wrap them around, and then the children can draw while they're dictating to you the story, right?
Mhm.
Or to their parents, right?
Right.
This is really cool. I mean,
Or
I
you
love
can
journals.
write your own if you can write yourself. Which we had some kids that were old enough or
Yeah.
teen, tween.
And they
type
came
age.
along too.
They did. It was a real multi-generational program, which was really fun.
Yeah, you can tell in David, the 4-year-old, you can see the drawings and the color. You may not be able to know what it is, but he knows what it is.
He had a wonderful time too.
He knows what it is. Did you work on them both with it?
My daughter actually worked with them. I was kind of busy helping run the program.
All right.
But
Thank you,
it
Marjorie.
was
So you've got a
sweet
book
having
coming
her.
up.
I do.
And what was the title again?
Easy Walks and Paddles in the 10 Mile River Watershed.
Okay, and that's going to be in April, so we're going to have to get her rescheduled to be back on
Oh,
again.
thank you.
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
Thanks for being here.
you're
And
welcome.
we'll see you next time. I'll be my guest.